So once again, we have a hunter here. Will it be played? We might find out during the match.
It's not surprising that we see Mirari playing a Zulok.
Playing a Zulok?
Well, a lock.
Lock.
I'm just guessing it's gonna be a lock.
Yeah. And, well, it's Druid here for Mirari.
I mean in general, you know.
Versus Shaman on Spo. And this match will only be from Mirari's point of view, since Spo had a really strange bug with his recordings. But for next week, that's fixed. I already flamed him hard. That's okay. We made it happen. We actually found his bug pretty easy. That can happen. That shouldn't happen. And, whoa, one game, last game, not deciding game anymore, from only one person of view. That fits quite well, I would say. And let's see if Mirari is able here to go 4-0 for eSuba, or if Spo is fighting hard to keep at least one win.
And Mirari got the Wild Growth, which is obviously what you want to have as Ramp Druid.
And we see more and more Harvest Golem in Ramp Druid. We had like the first version of the Ramp Druid is not running that mid-rangey stuff. It goes up from 4 mana or even 5 mana. You don't see Yetis all the time. But with more Shamans coming, you're actually popping in those 3 drops, those 4 drops to get rid of Unbound Elementals, Totems. It's actually good value for you to have a Harvest Golem.
And we see a shock. That's nice. Of course, he doesn't want to deal with the small golem that spawns when the Harvest Golem dies, and he equips a Stormforged Axe.
It's the best play to do here, and he even gets out an Argent Squire. That's a strong start, especially if there is a Flame Tongue Totem roaming around in his hand. It would give him an extreme potent board. That might be a 4-6 taunt, but with a Flame Tongue Totem, he could just kill that 4-6 now instantly.
Without having any problems, that's true.
But if not, he's actually screwed. He kind of needs a Hex then, or something compared to get rid of the 4-6. But we already see a swipe roaming around in Mirari's hand, and a Raz too. So he does as much damage as possible.
No,
But
Wild Growth. But I doubt that he's gonna play it.
Or he can just Raz, trade, attack the 1-1, for example, and White Growth if he wants to. Could also...
Would you use Wild Growth now? I think you're already above that point. You should rather keep it and then use it on turn 10 to get a card.
Well, but if you use your White Growth now, and for example you draw Ragnaros next turn, you could instantly drop him.
When 2 hexes are out, still an option for Spo to just play them, or a big game hunter. You haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah,
but apparently he goes for that.
Before losing everything on the board like he did, like Spo did, he would have hexed the 4-6 to get, well, better stuff out to keep his totems. But he didn't hex, he chose to Spirit Wolf. So I just think there's no hex in his hand by now. And, well, we might just see if he's going to hex an Ancient of Lore, if there's a random Ragnaros appearing in Mirari's hand. At the moment, it looks good for Spo with all the stuff out on the board. But as we know, Mirari can draw a lot of cards. He has a swipe in his hand. He even has a spell damage swipe in his hand. So that White Growth turned out to be useful in the end.
Yep. If Spo decides to throw down more small minions, he could also play the Fire Elemental and then trade with one of the Spirit Wolves.
Absolutely possible. That would be annoying. But for that still would be a powered up swipe. 5 damage, killing that Fire Elemental instantly. For Spo, 6 mana. As you say, Fire Elemental, maybe Argent Commander also. Or just, well, Flame Tongue Totem.
Wow.
5 damaged Wolf. Trading here. And he can also do 4 damage with his stuff on the board. That turned out to be great for him, but still, we have the possibility of that super swipe, or just drop Cairn, whatever. There's some good stuff. You could just go Cairn and Raz that totem.
Yep.
Just keep your swipe. Would be absolutely okay.
Most likely play.
But he wants to draw more cards. I guess it's okay, since if you play Cairn, he will absolutely hex him, and maybe with the 5-5 on the board, he considers just killing it except instead of hexing. He just breaks the shield once. I guess that's okay. Keep the second. He could have double innervated swipe, but that would be kind of overkill, like not necessary, especially if you want to use 5 damage swipe on a Fire Elemental. And now we could still see Fire Elemental trade with a 2-2, as you said before. Could imagine that. Or Argent Commander.
That makes it definitely swipe.
Yeah, that makes it a swipe, a perfect swipe. He could even swipe the face if he wants to, innervate hero power and kill the 2-3 left. And he even gets a second swipe, so maybe consider swiping face for 5 damage. I would have even done that and just kill off the 2-1 with an innervate. And
you would trade 2 damage and an innervate for 3 damage on Spo?
Yes.
Like, I don't think it's worth.
You bring him down to 15, and next turn you could swipe again with your charged Root of the Claw, and that would be plus 9 damage, plus 13. I would bring him down to 2. Second swipe incoming, I guess. No one counted with that, and it's gonna be super annoying for Spo. I really don't think he counted with 2 swipes here, and that hurts a lot. He can even Raz if he wants to and innervate out a Yeti. That's just ridiculous for Spo. Mirari has an awesome hand, and that's the second eSuba player winning with Druid here at the moment. Vanilla Titan made it first. Now Mirari is following, and he's doing awesome. And it's a mid-range. I would call it a mid-range ramp Druid with Force of Nature.
With Force of Nature, and we also see a Cairn. We haven't seen Cairn in a long time because a lot of the players tell us that they feel it's way too slow.
Cairn is quite slow. You're dropping it out, and then you hope your enemy might not kill it and it survives. GG. Well, GG we have here. If he plays Force of Nature plus Mark of the Wild, he would win.
He had lethal.
Well, maybe he was just no problem for him here. he just didn't see it. Since the game is obviously won for him, and well, he just didn't count for it. He just clear the board, be happy with it. You win anyway, so whatever. What is going to happen? Double Lightning Storm? That's most unlikely to happen. And even if double Lightning Storm happens, everything dies. There's still Force of Nature plus Mark of the Wild, exactly 8 damage. So it's pretty much GG for Mirari here. Whatever happens. Worst case scenario, I don't see Spo surviving.
Double Lightning Storm, Shield Bearer, Taunt Totem.
Even with a double Lightning Storm, he would need to get lucky to actually get a Yeti killed. So one of those 2 Lightning Storms need to hit for 3, and that's not a must. If you know the Lightning Storm RNG as a shaman, that hurts. Yeah, Mirari, GG. eSuba is going 1-0 here in that match.
If they go 4-0 again, that would be just nuts.
That would be nuts. They're going to take such a giant lead. Actually, I need to remake that standing screen and then post it on the social media for at least for Sunday. So we're going to show it on Sunday first of all, so you are actually entertained and you see who's leading our league. And just for your information, we're creating a website. We already have TakeTV.net, and there's, for example, the Acer Team Story Cup for StarCraft. But we will also have for our HearthStone Cup a site equally to that with standings, team information, and everything. But it's still in the making. Until then, well, if you want to know something, if you're missing out something, you will have to contact us or just ask in the chat nicely. There are commands for standings and everything.
Against the Shaman? Druid. Of course, the Shaman lost. Against the Druid? Yes, I would.
So let's find out if Spo has the same mindset as you when it comes down to that matchup.
He didn't have too many taunts, so I think Hunter could work.
Hunter could work. I would say Hunter. I would prefer Hunter from my point of view. It's a good deck, but Spo goes for a Druid here, and I mean the good thing in Druid versus Druid is if you get your white growth off early on, you're in such a good spot.
Yep.
And Mirari Well, he already has his white growth. He could also just
Coin wealth grows.
he could also coin Innovate Yeti. He could just go super ham. But I feel it being better to wait a turn, then white grows, and play Yeti without Innervate, and then turn 5 you could actually Innervate out your Ancient of Lore.
It's also a possibility.
I would say that's better. So if you, let's pretend you coin Innervate Yeti, then next turn you could white grows, but your follow-up move would only be Keeper of the Grove, and until, like, if you don't redraw a 5 or 6 drop, you're screwed until turn 5 or 6, where you can play your Ancient of Lore then. So coin Innervate Yeti is the least optimum play, even though you really want to do it, since a 4-5 on the board instantly is extremely good.
So now we're gonna see the wild grows. Wild grows.
White grows, then turn 4 Yeti. That's good. That's the
Turn
obvious
5
play.
Innovate. Ancient of the Lore.
Looks good for Mirari again. Spo has a Harvest Golem too, so there's the mid-rangey version with Harvest Golems. Oh, he's even going for Innovate, Coin, Ancient of the Lore. That's a possible play. But I feel like it's unnecessary to do it, since he could have just dropped the Yeti, and the Yeti would have been okay. If there's a Raz incoming now, for example, his minion would just die to that, like the Yeti would also have died. But
he would have kept the coin at least.
My main concern with that play is he cannot make use of D5 mana. So he can play Yeti next turn, but then he wastes the mana. So the other way around, he would have, well, it would have been mana efficient. And now it's just like, it's okay,
You
but not
got the
perfect.
druid, so
Well,
it's fine.
You got the druid, that's fine, but he needs to think about, taunting it up or not. That could turn out fatal.
Because of the Black Knight.
If there's an Innervate Black Knight, so he needs an Innervate to put it next turn. But it would be, well, you would make best use of your mana by now, and you can just run him in. Two Yetis in his hand. It's an extremely strong board he could establish. I mean, if there's a swipe incoming now, it's that's devastating for Mirari. When Spo swipes his Druid of the Claw, trades in
What?
Harvest Golem.
Yeah. Druid survives. Harvest Golem's gonna get traded.
Yep, exactly. That's what he's going to do if he has it. Well, but if he had it, he would have used it. A Raz would also be good, just to get rid of that 5/3 minion. I wanted to say it looks good for Spo, but if there's really no swipe in 6 cards in his hand, I mean, there are 6 cards. What could it be? A Starfall, Sunwalker, Ancient of the Lore himself, Black Knight roaming around, Scenarios, Keeper of the Grove, maybe Big Game Hunter. Those are all cards possible, but all cards not so useful for him by now.
He's taking his time.
But he cannot take more time than 90 seconds. Thank you to Blizzard, making a time limit for friendly games. Wow, and he runs in everything, and that hurts. He not only ran in, he played a minion to run it in, he also ran his other stuff in, and now Mirari is regaining board control.
Well, regaining? Never lost it.
Well, just keeping. Oh, board control was over. No minions left. Mirari has his Yeti out. Whatever, turn 6, there could be a Sunwalker, but even if there is a Sunwalker, Mirari can just silence it and keep going for the phase. Silence it and drop a Harvest Golem. Oh, Starfall. The problem with Starfall is you play it.
I mean, you clear the board, but yeah, it's Mirari's turn again, and he will just throw out more minions.
Yeah, you cleared the board, but you kind of want to clear the board and then follow up with a minion. It's turn 7 now. There could be an Ancient of Lore incoming. Ancient of War also possible. But even that Ancient of Lore, he could just Selness, Raz, Hero ability to get rid of it. and then keep going for the face. Or just Keeper of the Grove, Raz,
Or Thalmus
swipe, and bring him down to, with your ability, 7 damage. You could also bring him down to 13. Or just Mark of the Wild, Raz. This is so strong. He doesn't even need to. He could just Raz and Keeper if he really wants to. But he wants to draw a card. It seems okay, but I feel it being unnecessary. Well, Black Knight, he would have drawn that anyway. But I feel it kind of being unnecessary. He could have done other moves. Like he played his Keeper anyways, and he could have dealt damage with that Raz. I say if having a 4-5 minion out is better than the way he did it, but it's still working. So he would have had a 4-5 minion out, a 4-5 minion out, well, and a Keeper of the Grove. So
you would have dealt more damage even.
Yeah, he would have dealt more damage. So
well, that way he doesn't have a Taunter.
Absolutely. So no Black Knight value. That's the good thing. And still himself has a Black Knight in his hand. That's 8 damage on the board plus 5 from a swipe. That's not lethal next turn.
Nope.
Well, but still, 8 mana. What could there be? A Ragnaros? Ragnaros would need to hit the correct minion. Ancient of War will just get Black Knighted.
Oh, damn.
Double. If there's a double innervate Faceless Manipulator incoming now, I'm just saying that would be madness.
Silence. Just go for the face. Ah, you can't silence. You can't do both. Man, damn, that was good.
That was good. That hurt.
That was important.
But now, if we recapitulate, if he had his 4-5 minion out, he could actually run everything in.
I think just play Thalmus. Bless you. Just play Thalmus.
Yeah, just play Thalmus. Hope for no swipe, get the extra card draw, or maybe keep him for next turn swipe Keeper. So you could
That's 7 damage.
But next turn you could like silence the 5/10, then play Thalmus, swipe the face for 5, and just run everything in.
1 damage short.
Yeah, 1 damage short.
But still, yeah, I know what you mean. Why?
Yeah, running in
for
that
the
is
swipe.
Yeah, before it gets swiped, it's important. Down to 8, that minion has 2 4/5s and a 2/4 out. That looks extremely good for Mirrari, and well, nice play by Spo. That's why he's holding so many cards and didn't have any options. Those were 2 innervates, Faceless Manipulator, 4 cards just being not so OP. And he rasses here and hopes for a swipe, I would say. It seemed like fishing for a swipe.
Indeed.
Even if he gets a swipe, he's still in trouble, I would say. He can bring him down. He can deal 4 damage, but his Ancient of War is obviously going to die if he's not able to heal it up. And even if he heals it up, it can just get silenced. There's the swipe. That helps. That helps a lot. He killed, and is he going to? Oh, he's Mark of the Wilding his minion. But that's still not enough. So the swipe, just run your Argent Commander. Argent Commander and ping him for 2. Yeah, just silence. So there's
Thalmus swipe. Or Argent. What?
You just deal 6 to the phage. He's down to 10. Thalmus swipe, 5 damage more. And well, if he wants to clear a Divine Shield minion, he needs to attack us first or silence it himself. This looks super good for Mirrari. Those druids are super annoying, I have to admit. And he didn't even ramp up so hard. We didn't see Sunwalkers, Ancient of Wars.
Well, he ramped up.
Yeah, but it was a Druid of the Claw. There were 2 Yetis. There was 1 Ancient of Lore, but there was no those awesome big taunt minions where you say, "Oh God, Ramp Druid is only winning because of his crazy taunt minions." Those Mark of the Wilds, but now we see Thalmus swipe incoming, and he can clear with his. Wow, he can
clear with his Keeper. What?
Well, it works like this. It works like this. He could have done it different way around. Also,
doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter in the end. Well, wouldn't he have kept his Keeper of the Grove if he Selnus swiped the middle one. It only had 5 HP. That's 2 damage on the right one. He attacks with his Divine Shield minion.
Yeah.
So his Druid of the Claw, his Keeper of the Grove could have survived. It's still okay though. I mean, he's on the winning, but it would be even better. So for the future, he could have kept the Keeper of the Grove if he took like some more seconds thinking about it. But he has an Ancient of Lore in his hand. That's just another 5 minutes plus.
And an Innervate already.
Plus the Innervate, that's so crazy. If he draws a Faceless Manipulator, he could just go... Yeah, he could just Innervate it out to get 2 Ragnaros. I mean, what am I talking about? Just go Ragnaros.
I would go YOLO Ross.
You just would go YOLO Rag. That's possible. But you can also go for Innervate plus Druid of the Claw.
Just charge.
Bring him down to 3. It's crazy. It's really well played by Mirrari. In the end, he's obviously going to win. I don't here maybe
Ragnaros.
well, even
even Ragnaros wouldn't really work.
Even if he gets Defender of Argus plus, let's say Defender of Argus plus a Healing Touch, that would make him survive. If he has an Alexstrasza now, that would be useful. But still, if Ragnaros hits perfect, he's kind of screwed. 2 cards here for Spo. What could it be? He needs a taunt. So to survive, he needs a taunt. He can heal himself up. He can run... Well, he can run 2 minions in to kill...
To kill the Druid of the Claw.
Yeah.
What?
Or he's just fooling around.
What?
Or he just...
Greetings.
Well, he made...